Okay, I want to talk about just a couple more things with queries. There's not much left to do. You have already worked with simple queries. Actually, I think in gadget sales you have also performed a complex query where we enter more than one criteria on the criteria line and it considers multiple criteria. You have also done a wildcard query where we use the asterisk symbol to tell access to accept any entry as valid. So we did the asterisk plus the word brush and maybe an asterisk brush asterisk so that it would accept anything on either side of the word brush. So an asterisk creates a wildcard query. What we haven't talked about yet, and I want to talk about for a couple of minutes, is one that seems like it acts a little bit different. The parameter query retrieves data that matches the user's criteria. Now this is different than other queries that we've done because the query criteria is not entered by the creator of the query. It is entered by the user of the query. And we're going to have a look at how that's going to work. Parameter queries are created by typing square brackets with the text prompt in between the square brackets. When the query is run, the prompt text will appear, which then prompts the user to enter what they would like to query for. Now we're going to look at an example of what that's going to look like in just a moment. So I can think of several uses for parameter queries, and one of them would be searching for a specific book title at the library. We might create a parameter query that prompts the user to enter a book title. So in square brackets I would type enter book title, and then that would be the text prompt that comes up for the user. Or we could do it with the author. I might put in a text prompt that said enter author's last name, and then when the user sits down at the library database, they're searching for a specific author, and that prompt would come up, enter author's last name, for the user to put in the name of the author that they like. So let's look at how this is going to look when we're in the query design mode. When entering a parameter query, what you're actually going to enter is the text prompt that the user will see when they run the query. And if you notice the criteria entry, if you're following my orange line down to the criteria row, I have entered under the last name column, enter employee last name with square brackets around it. I know you can't see all of it, but trust me, that's what I did. And then if you're following the other orange line up to the dialog box, that is the text box that comes up for the user when they sit down to run the query. So they're wanting to find an employee here, and the prompt comes up, enter the employee last name. The user would type in Jensen and hit OK, and every employee whose last name is Jensen would come up as part of the contents of this query. So it's a little bit different than other queries because what you're doing is entering a text prompt that will then prompt future users to help them find what they want to find. That's all for now. Have fun doing parameter queries.